Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and we're back in the 3.5 Monster Manual. And we are on the Winter Wolf. The Winter Wolf is a large magical beast, 8 to 10 foot long, weighing about 450-500 pounds, and it can blow out a gust of cold air. It also has a trip attack and a freezing bite. So let's start off. I have mounted a plastic wolf that is almost 2 inches long to this base, and I put some rocks on here to make it interesting. And let's get a cheap makeup brush from the Dollar Tree and see what kind of detail there is on this wolf. Now, this was like a cheap thing that was part of a whole pack of wild animals. So, I mean, it doesn't have an enormous amount of detail, okay? But it's the right size, and with the right paint job, it just might work. So he's got some detail. He's not great, but you know what? I couldn't even tell you what I paid for that pack of animals, and it wasn't very much. So, you know, I got it with a coupon or something at some point. It's been years, so. Not an enormous amount of detail, so we're going to have to get creative with our paint job here. And I think the Winter Wolf in the picture actually had an earring, if I'm not mistaken. They speak giant and common, which I thought was strange. And I use winter wolves as regular sized wolves all the time. And I use my template as a 20-foot cone. It's actually only a 15-foot cone. So I have a little bonus craft at the end started for that. So looking at the wolf, let's look at the picture and see what color it's supposed to be. I'd like mine to be a blue going down to a white, I think. But in the picture, it's like a brown going down to a white. It does have an earring. Mine's not going to have one. All right. So like I said, I want mine to go from a blue down to a white. So I'm going to get a gray. And a little bit of blue to mix in with that. My blue choice is looking like turquoise, boys. Something like that. Try to get them covered pretty good everywhere we can. And everywhere we can't, we'll just pretend like it's supposed to look that way. Now you're thinking to yourself, man, that is violently blue for a wolf. Yes, I know. I'm hoping we can work it down into a more reasonable tone of blue with some effort. And not a large amount of effort, mind you. Like a minimal effort. Get in the cracks there, behind the feet a little bit, get in the legs. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if you get on the base. We're going to come back and do something with the base at the end. Something like that to get us started, I think, worked out pretty well. So now, we're going to hit this dude with the hot air gun. Get a lot more of that gray and a lot less of that blue. I'm not even cleaning out my brush. And we're going to try to create some interesting undertone with that, but nothing too drastic. Not hitting everywhere, not focusing on the inside of the legs and stuff as much as I did with the other blue. And let's just give them some variation to work with. If you want to get behind those ears a little bit good, because I didn't do it on the initial coat, let's do that now. And then we'll hit them with air gun again. Now using only gray. There should be a little bit of blue left in the brush, so I'm using only gray at this point. And just that little bit of blue that's left, and let's do our first big tonal change on him and bring that down. And we can really see what kind of detail we have there, huh? None. That's what kind of detail we have. None at all. Okay. Okay. Let's get a lighter gray than that. This is called country gray. Let's get a little bit of that. Grab that and that. And go over this. Okay, I'm going to get just that light gray, hit some of the higher spots. Nice. All right, set that brush off to the side. We're going to need a new brush, so that's going in the water. I'm going to get a clean makeup brush. Something like this. Boop, boop. Same deal. Now this time I have no blue in here, and this is really light. We don't want to take away all the blue. We want to lighten him up enormously and let some of that undercoat show through. We don't want to ruin any of the work we've done, so try not to do anything too aggressive here. All right, now I'm going to get white. Same white I used initially. I'm going to get that white. I'm going to dip in that and I'm going to mix it with that gray. Now that where we did the really light gray by itself on his back, head, and top of his tail, that's going to pay off during this part here because it's going to be a little lighter up there in the undertones. It's going to naturally make him look a little bit lighter up there, as if there's some light shining on him or something, if you're worried about that kind of thing. I can't really get in here and do much with the inside of his legs, so I'm not even going to fight with it. I'm going to get the front of them the best I can, the back of them the best I can, and I'm not going to panic about the insides because I don't want to scratch anything or tear anything apart that I've worked on. So I'm just hitting them the best I can and leaving it go. I'm going to hit his belly a little bit. Right. Now, I don't know if going pure white is the right answer on him, but I do think that one coat of pure white with a little bit of what's in this brush might be okay, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to get a tiny dab of that. That's probably more than I wanted. Oh, scheiße. I don't know if I got enough paint off the brush. There we go. Something like that. It's pretty pure white at that point, but I'm not minding it actually. Now, if there's any spots that are just too blue, you can come in here now and clean those up. I have a couple like deeper spots that I just didn't get enough of the undercoats on to lighten them up. So that's what I want mine basically to look like. Now there is something I want to do also on here though, before I start his face. So I want him to have like a darker spot. Like I had a buddy in the army that had a pet wolf that was like half wolf, half something. It had this like dark spot up here. I'd like to do something like that. But what I don't want to do is do it in like blue by itself. So I'm going to get a little bit of this medium tone gray here. This is called pewter. Way more than I wanted. And I'm going to get a crappy brush that's soft. And I'm going to get some water. I'm going to mix that gray in there. Just a teeny bit of that blue. Too much blue. Okay, get a little bit of water. Oh, my water's blue. Okay. All right, I'm going to get that. I'm going to get a little more water. There we go. Something like that. And then I'm going to wipe off a lot of that. Then I'm going to come back along the rough edges here and just kind of darken that up a teeny bit. It's like a half-ass wash. And I'm going into a triangle with it. Well, it's going to be more of a diamond. I'm coming up on his neck kind of squarish. Not a perfect square, just a rough square. A rough diamond, I mean. And like that. And then I'm going to leave him go for that way. That's what I want him to look like. Now, for the inside of his mouth, instead of doing like an obnoxious red right off the bat, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get a light pink color. This is called Cameo. And I'm going to come in there with a fine brush, a small size one. And I'm going to paint the inside of his mouth just real easily. And I'm not putting a whole lot of effort into this or trying to make it perfect. And he does have a little bit of a tongue in there. And there's some teeth. And there's not much detail to any of that. Okay. And if a little bit of that blue shows through, I'm not panicking. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to get a little bit of that pink on my cardboard before I put it away. I say a little bit. What I guess I meant was a lot of it. And I'm going to get flag red, which is a red color. I'm going to put a little bit of that on there too. Okay. I'm going to mix a tone that is darker than my original pink a little bit. About like that. And I'm just going to paint, because his tongue's so incredibly visible. I'm just going to paint a rough shape of a tongue. Doesn't have to be perfect. I need it to be a little darker though. Okay. Right. Sweet. All right. Before I do the nose and the teeth, I want to kind of look at the picture again real quick. So I think they have black noses. I can't remember what my buddy's dog's nose was. So we're gonna do a gray, and then the eyes we're gonna do in blue, white with blue, and then we're gonna do some teeth. And then the inside of the ears we're going to do with, well, you can't really see the inside of the ears because they're like down. So we're not going to play with those. All right, so for the eyes, I'm going to get off-white here. This is called Mummy Robes. Excuse me, sir? Can you take it upstairs to her? Thank you. Sure. Thank you. No problem. Sorry, we ordered pizza and the garage door was open. He tried to bring it to me. All right, so for the eyes, I'm just getting to get... There's not much of eyes on this model, is there? Get a little bit of white. Just real careful like. And since this side has no sculpt for the eye, I'm just going to freestyle one there. In the same spot. It'd be cool if it actually had a sculpted eye there. I'm going to get my dark blue gray for his nose. Okay. Let me get some khaki for his teeth. And then I'll come back with that same color I used on his eyes too. But again, his teeth are not super noticeable. I'm sure in the original sculpt you could see these, and then after they used that mold for so long, it just kind of disappeared. I'm just lining out his mouth a little bit with that tan. Then I'm going to get that white, off-white. I'm just going to tap the edges of his teeth and mimic some depth there, and hopefully give the illusion that there's a little bit more going on with his teeth than you can see. All right. Oh, spleen. I'm not real happy with this eye situation. How he doesn't have a sculpted eye on this side. I'm going to try to make that a little more pronounced. I guess it's as good as you can really get that without there being an eye there. Okay. So now I'm going to get a little bit of water and a tiny bit of that red. Just like that. All I'm doing is making red water, reddish water. Get a little more water. Okay. I'm going to put that in the mouth. And hopefully it kind of picks up the tongue and roof of the mouth a little bit. And when it dries, it won't be that noticeable. And it's time to get blue. And we'll call this a win. I'm getting a fractional brush. And I'm looking for a pretty bright blue color. I have found turquoise. Wait, is that what I used over there? Maybe that's not the color I want. Oh, I know what I want. Crystal blue. Thank you, Army Painter. I shouldn't thank them, I paid for it. All right. So I'm going to get a glob of blue, a very small glob of blue. And I'm going to touch it and just drag it until I get the dot I want. And I'm not putting these directly in the center of the eye. I'm kind of going them towards the middle. Like that. And that looks a little bit cartoony, I think. I'm not real happy about it. So we're going to do a couple things. First, we're going to hit this with the air gun so his face is dry. And I'm going to get that elephant gray, the medium gray that I was mixing. I'm going to get a little bit of that. I have my fractional brush. But I'm just going to do a little bit of an outline under that eye on both sides because I don't like the way that looks and I want them to be noticeable. I will hit that a little bit more. I might need a darker color. All right. I'm going to use that medium gray up there. Cardboard. This medium gray right here. I'm just going to do a little outline under that eye with that. There we go. That's more noticeable. I think I'm going to go over the eye too. About halfway back. Okay. Then, where I don't like the mouth edges, I'm just going to come here with that, and I'm going to drag a rough line in between those teeth where I want it to make it a little bit more noticeable. But I'm not going to do anything drastic. I'm just lightly dragging it where the teeth don't stick out well. And it's going to see it kind of like lines out that mouth and makes it a little better. All right, so where the eyes are, we're going to get black and the same fractional brush. And I'm going to do 2 tiny dots on that blue. I'm going to use my fractional brush and simulate some fingernails. Just little lines. This model has no fingernails. So you don't have to put an enormous amount of effort into that either. Just do a couple little lines here and there, and they'll get you what you want. Cleaning out that brush. Grabbing some brown. Now, we're going to be finishing up this paint job probably close to the 25-30 minute mark. So I would recommend, if you do not want to stick around for the special bonus craft of his breath weapon, it's not super hard to make a cone breath weapon. So after I finish showing you how I'm doing this base, or even if you don't want to watch the base part, that'd be a good time to bolt out. I noticed that, like, it's weird. Some videos get a lot of view time and people like watch the whole video, and some like don't stick around depending on the content. And I think what it is the more I talk in videos, the more people stay and watch them. But when I'm just like doing a lot of quiet and crafting, people don't watch them, which I'm surprised, because I don't have anything to talk about that's interesting. And what's really crazy is we were looking at some of the statistics on these videos. It's insane. Like the ones where I give like moral lectures about being good to people don't get turned off as much. So maybe I should just start like painting miniature, change my channel to morals and Doom Biscuit. I don't know. Like when I talk about being decent to human beings, people want that message. When I talk about painting miniatures, no one cares. Be good to each other. Always do the right thing. Never harm others. See, now people will watch. Done my part. For the greater good. God, this is like one of my least favorite things, is when I put these giant rocks on a base and then have to paint around it, and then I never learn my lesson. I wouldn't mind it if I'd learned my lesson. I'd be like, hey, don't do that. You're going to have to fucking paint in there. Excuse my French. You're going to have to paint in there. No, I don't learn. Not a bit. Not now, not ever. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the outside with that brown as well, because I don't feel like coming back and trying to line out the black. It'll probably look better with a black outline. Undoubtedly, but I'm not doing that. I hope everybody's ready for the holiday season. Hope you got your menorahs and your Christmas trees and all that, and whatever else accoutrement you need. I'm honestly kind of ignorant to other holidays that are celebrated this time of the year. I guess we have Advent going on, maybe? I don't know. I grew up Catholic. I'm nothing anymore. I'm just kind of a dude. I believe in something, but I don't know exactly what I believe. And I really don't want to get into it on here and open the comment section up to a bunch of shenanigans. What do you mean you don't know what you believe? Well, as I get older, I wonder if I've not been wrong about this thing or that thing. And as I grow and change and see more of the world, my opinions change. And I think the day we stop growing, stop learning, and stop questioning stuff is the day that we should give up. And I'm not talking specifically about faith. I mean, even now we're finding scientific things that we thought to be true forever, and we know they're actually not. Taking shit for granted and just assuming that we have all the answers is dangerous. It's dangerous for us as individuals, and it's dangerous for us as a society. Now, usually I would do 2 tones under that, but I'm not going to today. So let's get my favorite color in the whole world, pavement, and let's hit these rocks up with a little bit of love. Hello, Mr. Rock. We'd like you to be gray, because that's what fantasy realism expects. Unless we are like in a desert or something, then we could do brown. But we're out in the wild. And this is a winter wolf, so in theory we should do a snow base, but we're not, because in the game I'm running right now, the winter wolves have been pushed out of the mountains by people called the Gargans. So they're hunting in the low grasslands below the mountains, and nobody knows how to deal with them, because they're like a mountainous kind of bad guy in my world. So they're just wrecking travelers and merchant caravans and stuff, because people are like, oh no, breath weapon, my beans, they're frozen. It's pretty exciting. All right, I think we got that rock covered good enough. We'll get some hot air on there. we'll get a lighter gray, and we'll hit this with some heat. Whoa! There he is. I'm going to get this light gray here. And I have a little bit of that white I'll mix in there to lighten it up a little bit more, since I have it here. Okay. That'll make up for the pavement I had in my brush. All about balance, my dudes. I'm going to wipe a lot of that out, because this brush is not ideal for this kind of gig. Okay, something like that. That fantasy realism look. And then I'm just going to, since I'm here, I'm just going to lighten these up a little bit more, just in some spots. Just going to grab some of the edges, some of the more 3D looking bits. Okay. Something like that. And now I'm really not liking the brown. It's too plain and boring. I'm going to wash that brush out, and I'm going to grab a really cheapy plastic bristle brush. And I'm going to get a medium brown color. This is called melted chocolate. I use this a lot. I'm going to get in here with that. And I'm just going to kind of push around and drag it into some of the 3D areas where it won't sink all the way down to the base coat, and break up the monotony of that brown. Then as I have less on my brush, I'll be a little less picky with how I do it, and I'll just hit it up and give it some variation. I'm trying to figure out how to close my paint. I don't know how. There we go. All right. So there's my Winter Wolf. I'm pretty happy with him. I do need to throw a little flock on there real quick, so let's do that. Let's hit him with the air gun to make sure none of the paint sticks to any, none of the flock sticks to any of that what we just painted. What is going on there? Oh, I chipped off some paint when I threw him, and he's not clear coated. All right. We need to fix that real quick, and that's too easy. Too freaking easy. We're just going to have to do a little bit of creative paint addition that I hadn't planned on. Okay. So let's hope I can get it to stick there enough to cover that up. Yeah, I can. And we'll just kind of clean up around that gray area I did. Make it look a little more congruous while we're doing this. Okay, now we can't see that part where the paint got chipped off. We'll just drag it up here and make that look a little more. There we go. Under his neck a little bit. All right, sweet. I'm happy. You're happy. But I don't know if you're happy because you're watching from somewhere else. So, clear glue. Remove your condom. If you can. I don't know how to work this condom. There we go. Dude, there's this guy. I think his name's Dave Hill or something like that. He's a comedian. He does these stupid commercials where he like teaches you how to make a bowl of cereal. He like puts the cereal in the bowl, then pours the milk in, and then he goes, mix it with your fingers. And he freaking, I don't know why. It's just, the dude's a comedian or something, you know. I think he's a comedian, or he's just nuts. But he's hilarious, and I recommend you search him up. Dave Hill. I think that's his name. Oh, I should have wrote a note. Also, I want to promote one of my buddies' channels. I met a dude at Immortals Inc. Up in Ohio somewhere. And his name is Shark Collects. And if you like the Pokemans, he does giveaways and they're not really unboxings, unpackagings. I don't know what you call it. Opening packs of Pokemon cards. But if you like that kind of stuff, do me a favor and check Shark out, because he's a good dude. He also does some gym videos and stuff. He's quite a few years younger than me, but he's a veteran as well, and he's very fit. So he does videos of him going to the gym and exercising and helping people stay motivated that want to exercise. And then his, Mini Shark, his kid, gets on there and does like some Pokemon stuff with him too. And just in general, it's a wholesome, like putting good out into the world kind of channel that I like. And even though I don't watch or play Pokemons or Pokemons or watch the game, people play it. I think I've seen some episodes of the show when the older boys were little. But yeah, check out Shark Collects. He's my total dude. Tell him Doom sent you. And I would really appreciate that. I really, really would. So there's no little mistake right there. So I'm just going to get a brush. When I flung him, he's not clear coated. So we lost a lot of little spots apparently that got chipped off. I flung him pretty hard though, so I can't complain too much. I'm going to be real careful. Instead of doing a bunch more dry brushing to clean that up, I'm just going to get my brush with a little bit of paint. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off, and I'm going to hit that real light just to try to bring that back together. And it looks like this time we might be okay. All right. Bonus craft. 31 minutes in, 32 minutes in. A little long for the video. He'll get a clear coat, and then he'll make it to the table so we can teach you how to fight with him. For now, I'm going to set him over here in front of the fan, and I'm going to collect what's over here. So this is my 15-foot cone breath weapon, and all I've done is taken some of this stuff, this green scratch pad stuff, and I drizzled it some hot glue back and forth, and I put cotton balls down on it. Well, this isn't even dry all the way. That's okay. And I drizzled cotton balls on it, so they stuck to the glue. Then I flipped it upside down, smashed it to my table, let it cool. Then I got the minor burning hand spell and melted a lot of the cotton ball away. And that created this. I had painted this with some Mod Podge blue paint and water. And then let's see if we can't do something with it now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some white paint. And I'm going to flip this on and get my glue in what I'm working on. Let me get some white paint. And since this is wet, I would have normally gone with a blue, but this is wet and I have my suspicions. Oh, it's really not going to be that big of a problem. And I'm going to kind of get around here and use that white to turn this blue into a varied base coat of some sort. Something like that. Okay. All right. I'm going to hit that with the air gun. Now, I literally just cut this and glued it real quick before I started painting that mini. So I will tell you this. If you're making one of these, let it sit for a while. Don't do what I've done. This is just making more work for myself. If I'd have done this and let it sit, I could have literally just hit it with like a really light blue, then hit it with a white and had a nice looking 15-foot cone template. 15-foot cone template of destiny. All right. I'm going to lighten this up a little bit more. Just get a little bit of white. Boop. Okay. Okay, I'm going to drag this along here. It's light blue. And I'm just catching it like that. Catch it from another angle. Then I'm going to go around and make sure I hit the edges real good. Something like that. I'm going to get a little bit more of that. And just kind of hit some spots and lighten it up a little bit more with just the white. Okay. And that's a sturdy, it'll dry nice and hard because of the Mod Podge that's in there. And it's got this nice green scratchy as a base. If you had a 15-foot flame, you could put it on the other, you could, literally flip this over and do the other side of the 15-foot flame or whatever you wanted, acid or whatever. So something like that's real easy. Now let me see if I have any push pins. Oh, come on. Do I seriously not have push pins down here? You bastard. I am like the worst. I'm never prepared for anything. All right, so let's say in theory you had a push pin. What you could do, and this is not a push pin, this is like a screw thing. What you could do is pry this off here, and you could put your push pin through. Okay, and I'm going to use this thing since I don't have a push pin, like I said. I'm going to screw this down in there like a dumbass. Push pin would be better. You just push it through, hit it with a set of snippers, and then do a little hot glue. But this, I had to twist it, and it was a total mistake. All right, snip it. And pull it up a little bit, just like that. Run some hot glue across it to hold it in place forever. Then you have a little handle. Like I said, if you had a push pin, it would be better. Plus, mine wasn't dry all the way, so look what happens here is where there was some moisture in there, and I was drilling it. It squeezed that moisture up and lightened that up. So ideally, right now, you'd want to let this dry and fix that. So anyways, that's just not the best handle. A push pin's a really good handle. That's too big, but I didn't have a push pin handy. I think I took them upstairs for something else. So anyways, that's how you do that. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon. Leave a comment. Buy some miniatures from the Dungeons Flag website. We just put a hero box up on there today. I'm not sure if it's posted yet, but we have curated an amazing hero box. And they come out to about $3 a mini, or a little bit less maybe. But they're phenomenal. It is just a ragtag group of 10 heroes that you could throw on your table and paint up and make something really nice with. And I've painted many of them before, except for 2. And I love the minis. So we curated that box, and we really went through. We're also working on some other cool boxes. The second box we're working on curating is a pack of Beastmen heroes. So you'll have like your Bearmen and Gorillamen and stuff like that in there. And then we're working on a Dark Hero box with like your evil people in it. You know, your goblins and that kind of stuff. So we're trying to add some more stuff to the website because we're selling a lot of miniatures, but we haven't really got much available. So we're going to add some more stuff on there to give everybody stuff to look at. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.